Alright, you guys, we're going to be looking at TEKS number 7.11c today. 7.11c talks about angle relationships. Angle relationships are going to be something that are going to be very prevalent in the unit that we're currently dealing with, which is the unit that is on 2D geometry. A large part of 2D geometry is figuring out line, shape of different 2D figures. Okay, so what's on the screen here? We're going to be looking at questions 1 through 4. The first of which is going to deal a lot with vocabulary, and the second of which is going to deal with more so the concepts and some calculation. All right, so number 1, if we're looking at this particular shape here, we see that the sum of measures of angle UWV, and those of you who are unaware of how angles are named, normally or always, I don't think I've ever seen a time when it wasn't, where your vertex is going to be in the middle of your lettering. Okay, so there are normally 3 different letters that name an angle. So it says that angle UWV, that's U, W for the vertex, V here, and UWZ. So these two angles together, so this one and then this one, together form what kind of angles? We know that there is a 90-degree angle symbol here in the corner. So these two angles together will form a 90-degree angle. Okay, so what I've done here is I have labeled both of my angles, this one and that one. Together they're going to be 90 degrees. Now that they are, we show that they are 90 degrees together because the symbol here in the corner proves that. We know that they are complementary angles. That's what it means when two angles come together to form a 90-degree angle. So back to our drawings. Number 2, it says angle UWV, that's UWV, and they're also angle VWX. Okay, so again, UWV and VWX. Okay, what kind of angles are they? So the angle that I'm looking at right now are these two right here, that and that. So let's go back to the drawing page. So here on my drawing page, if you've noticed, what I've done is I went ahead and I highlighted the angles that I was looking for again. So UWV and this angle right here, VWX. So this angle and this angle. Okay, here and here. What kind of angles do they form? And the kind of angles that they form are adjacent angles. Okay, so they are adjacent. Now, when we think adjacent, we think of angles that are right next to each other, and they share a side. Okay, it just so happens if I turn my paper over, also this is a straight line. So together, because both of them are along the same line, they share a vertex and a side. We can also say that they are supplementary. That means that they will equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to give other examples of vertical angles. Remember, a vertical angle will share a vertex and will be directly across from another angle. Okay, so let's go ahead and look to see where there's another set of vertical angles. So vertical angles again share a vertex, which is here, and they are directly across from each other. So these two angles right here would form a vertical angle. I'm going to use an orange to denote that. So orange, okay, and orange here. These are directly across. Do we see that? So from here, there, these two. I know hopefully the colors aren't distracting, but again, vertical angles directly across from each other, and they share a vertex. So vertical angle would be angle VW, and this wasn't labeled in the picture earlier, but we're going to call this, let's have what we done. We'll just call it S. Okay, so I'll say that is VWS, and angles ZWY. What about adjacent angles? These are any two angles that are right next to each other. So let's go ahead and say these two angles are adjacent. They're right next to each other. So we'll say angle SWX. And we'll say angle XWY. Okay, so now let's talk about complementary. Again, complementary angles, two angles that form a 90-degree angle. These could also be considered as complementary angles as well, angle SWX. So as you see, they can do double duty, okay? They happen to be adjacent, but they're also complementary. Supplementary angles, again, are two angles that form 180 degrees. Let's turn our paper this way to see if we can see anything. Remember, this entire angle is going to be 180 degrees. So I can say that this angle right here and this angle right here will form a supplementary angle. So let's see, I'm going to label this as in red here. And again, hopefully the color is not too distracting. So these two right here. So I'm going to call these as angle SWY, SWY, and angle ZWY. Okay, these are two supplementary angles because together they are along a straight line, also known as a straight angle, so they form 180 degrees. All right, let's go ahead and move over to the second part. So in terms of number 3 and number 4, we're going to start looking at what we know about the angle relationships and how we can figure out the missing parts based on what we know. So number 3 says angle AGB. Remember, this is angle AGB, the vertex being the middle letter, and angle DGE. So what do we notice about those angles? They are directly across from each other and they share a vertex. Okay, so what kind of angles are they? And what is the measurement of angle DGE? So we're going to switch back over to my writing page. All right, so the measurement of angle AGB is 30 degrees here. Okay, now remember, these angles are directly across from each other. So I'm going to draw a green line because they are directly across from each other. So if this is 30 degrees, I also know that this is a congruent angle, also 30 degrees, and also called a what? It's called a vertical angle. And so the measurement of angle DGE is also 30 degrees. I'm sorry if I wrote that. I'm going to try writing that again. This is 30 degrees for that measurement. Okay? All right. So the vertical angles, and they have the exact same measure because they are congruent. What about the measurement of angle CGD? We show it as 50. The measurement of DGE, which I've shown is 30 degrees. Then I have this angle as 2x. So I'm going to flip, that was EGF, by the way, EGF. So if I flip my paper over, just so we can see these three, if you notice here, if I orient this a certain way, I know that these three angles, 1, 2, 3, will equal how many degrees? Because they're along a straight line, also known as a straight angle, so they must equal 180 degrees, which is what I have written here. So let's go ahead and write this down. We have angle CGD, which is 50 degrees. We have angle DGE, which is 30 degrees. And then we have the measure of angle EGF, which is 2x degrees, and that must equal 180. All right, so this, if we were to leave the degree symbols behind, okay, no, I forgot that. If we leave the degree symbols behind, this is like what we call combining terms. A term can be a number, it can be a variable, a combination of the two. When I add these together, what can I combine? Can I combine 50 and 2x? No. Can I combine 30 and 2x? No. Can I combine 2x and 50? No. But I can't combine these numbers. So together, 50 plus 30 becomes 80 plus 2x, which I can't combine with anything. This sort of looks like an equation that I can solve now. Or it is an equation that I can solve and have solved before. I'm going to subtract 80 from both sides. This, or add 80 negatives to both sides, the additive inverse. This becomes 2x is equal to 100. So when I solve for x, now problems on your homework and or test quizzes, etc. may tell you to solve for x or to find the measurement of angle EGF, one of the two. So if I wanted to solve for x, all that I needed to do was to solve for x. X is going to be 50, okay? Now, if x is 50, and I know that the value of this angle EGF, was 2x degrees. So I'm going to simply plug in this 50 in as my x value. So 2 times 50 gives me what? It's going to give me 100 degrees. Okay, so let's do a check. If I know that all three of these together must equal 180, so if I did my check here, I know 50 degrees plus 30 degrees plus 100 degrees must equal what number? 50 and 30, 80, 80 plus 100, 180 degrees. That's my check. Now, this is a little bit about angle relationships. If you have any questions concerning this, please come to class with your questions available. Come to a tutorial 1 or 2 days a week. And as always, you may back up this particular video, watch it again, ask any questions that you have when you get back to class. I will see you guys tomorrow.